What's going on, guys? We're back. Got my homie Danny. What's going on, man?
Oh, it's a beautiful, what is today? It's Saturday, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really pay attention to days of the week. So people always ask
yeah,
me what day of the week it is. I'm like, it's just day that I go and do my thing. But yeah, today is Saturday and it's a great day. Just got
it
done
is.
working and, here we are doing another one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Absolutely. I feel like the days and the weeks are flying by so fast these days, and the closer we get to the summer, especially with me now, triathlon season kicking in, man. It's just like I don't even know what day it is. I just know that I
Well,
woke up and
yeah. But
yeah. So,
the thing with that is like, this is going to kind of go into what we're going to talk about today is people put these labels on days of the week.
yeah.
Like, oh, well, yeah, it's just another Monday, this, or, it's the next, oh, tomorrow's almost Friday, and this and that. Like, they're
Right.
always inching to get to this certain day for this certain reason, or stay away from a certain day for a certain reason because it has this stigma attached to it. If you just executed every single day the same way, you wouldn't have that kind of thing. They give themselves their, oh, having tomorrow's Monday, I have anxiety. No, you don't fucking have anxiety.
Nope.
Fucking shut the fuck up. You're being silly. You
Right.
know what I'm trying to say though? Like they
Yeah.
attach
Yeah.
these meanings to these days that are just days. That's why when people ask me, what day of the week it is, I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. Like, does it
Well, what
fucking
you're
matter?
talking about is the question that we keep getting in the group is this that, and we're going to tie this into
Yes.
75 hard because we keep seeing this question. So, okay, you finished 75 hard, and to your point, now what do I do on day 76?
Right.
Well, what you fucking did the last 75 days,
It's not, don't look at it as day 76. Look at it as
right?
like, this is how I live my life now.
Right. Well, this is just said, it was to your point, man, is that what most people I think fail to understand about 75 Hard, that program, that it is a mental toughness program for a reason that if you
Right.
finish it and you complete it, that on day 76, you're not going to be fucking putting around wondering what the fuck you're supposed to do.
Exactly. And here's the thing. It's like, we always say everyone that's doing 75 hour always has the same little thing when people are like, hey, can I eat this? And what do we always say? If you have to ask, you know the answer. This is the same situation. If you have to ask what to do on day 76, you didn't do it right. And
Right.
that's just a fact. And that's not me saying that. I can pull up clips of Andy Frisella himself saying that a million fucking times.
Yep.
So it's just is. It's supposed to teach you how to live that way, and that's going to be your lifestyle now. And
Right.
the problem, one of the biggest problems, I think, is so many people get into it, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but they need to shift their mindset once they
Right.
figure it out. Is they get into it as a fitness thing because they want to get better and more fit, and that's great, but that's a byproduct of what you're actually supposed
Yeah.
to be learning.
Yeah, and people need to. So you brought up something really interesting. Is this that because you do go through an evolution? I don't know about you, but when I was doing 75 hard, I was going through an evolution mentally, and when I
Yeah,
got about halfway through, I started to think, "What the fuck did I get myself into? Is this what I really want to do?" Like my mind's playing tricks on me, right?
right,
Because on one side, I'm like, "All right, I'm doing something that is not just going to change the way that I live, the way that I look at." My entire life, the way I eat, the way I exercise, the way I literally go about my day. And the flip side of that is like, where's the worth in this? It's like, good and bad, like evil and good is like battling in your mind
yeah.
because you're going through this evolution. And people need to understand that that is normal. You're supposed to
That's
go
part
through
of
that.
it. Yeah, that's part of it. That's called growing.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
And
growing.
yeah, because you didn't force yourself into this. You did
No,
it by choice. You
right.
chose to become better, and that's what people need to understand. That on day 76, like, and there's been a lot of people I know, and there's been at least a handful in our group who have said, "Hey, I finished 75 hard," and it's like, what do you want a fucking medal now? Like, I mean,
Right.
great, take
Right.
the
Right. Right. Right.
accomplishment,
Yeah.
but please understand that this is your lifestyle. Like this is
Right.
how you're eating better, you're
Right.
exercising, you're feeding your mind with good knowledge and
Right.
information, you're exercising your spirituality, like you're doing all of it
Right.
as you should,
Right.
you know? And that's what I think a lot of people struggle in understanding that day 76 is really okay, you did all the practice, you did all the work, now it's the moment of truth.
Well, that's why it's the Live Hard program is year long. That's why after that you jump into
Yep.
phase one, and it's supposed to gear you towards all that. It's like people just stop there and they're like, okay, I did it, now I'm good. Well,
Right.
I mean, yeah, if you did it right, then yeah, you should be. But there's those other steps you can take to, solidify what you learned and learn even more, throughout that process.
And like you said, on day 76, if you're still questioning what you should be doing, you didn't learn shit in 75
No,
days.
yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like the ones that
Yeah.
are really like, I don't know what to do now, then you didn't really do it. Like, I'm
That's,
sorry, like it sounds mean, and I don't want to be mean to
yeah.
anybody, but like that's what you sound like when you say some stupid shit like that.
And there's
Because
been there's
like,
been a couple of people in the group actually that I was just so tempted. I'm like, should I jump in here and just fucking create a snarky comment?
yeah,
'Cause-
I know we don't do that in there. We'll save that for
yeah,
this.
yeah. So because you're right, man. I mean, it's you hopefully on day 76. One of the biggest takeaway is that you'll have the mental resilience, you have the mental
Yeah,
strength to
yeah,
know what to do and
right.
not question your choices.
Most
Because
people, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Most people, what if you did it the right way and everything went right on day 76, guess what you're going to do? You're going to get up, and at that point in time, it's robotic. You're going to keep fucking
Right,
doing it. Like, what part of it? Okay, so you're the person that says, what do I do on day 76? Okay, what part of that do you want to stop doing? You
right,
know, what part? Okay, I could see somebody saying I don't want to do two workouts anymore. I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't fault anyone for that. If they dropped off one workout and still live that lifestyle, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
right.
But like to say, well, and just go back to the old way of doing things. Like I'm gonna go back to eating fucking donuts every day. I'm gonna go back to drinking soda. I'm gonna go back to laying on the
Yep.
couch. That's the people that I'm talking about here.
Well, I think, I mean, that's a great point. Is and that leads into the next topic here is just that the misunderstanding behind a program like 75 Hard, that a lot of people just look at it as a temporary challenge or, a temporary fix or just a box to check. And I can tell you this right now, not just in our group, but in real life, I've actually met several people who have done 75 Hard, but they've done 75 Hard multiple times, like 3 or 4 times. And I literally look at them and I'm like, all right, this is not a weight loss challenge, right? It's
Right.
a mental toughness
Right.
challenge, right? But the weight loss is a byproduct because a lot of
Mhm.
people talk about that. And let's face it, you are going to lose some weight, you
If you
know?
do it right, hell,
Yeah,
two workouts a day and eating on a good diet,
yep,
you're good. Even a fit person's going to lose weight.
exactly, exactly. And when I see some people who are like, all right, you tell me you did it 3 times, but I look at you and there's really no change. And
Right.
that's when I know that you were fucking probably eating donuts every day for 75 days.
Well, either that or they did what they see. A lot of people say they do it and do. This all boils down to what you're holding yourself to onto your own standard when no one's looking.
Yep.
Are you really fucking doing it? Did you really do it, or you just say you're doing it? Because, like you said, you
Yep.
could tell, like somebody that got done doing it, even well, I don't even know where a scenario would that you, if they were 400 pounds and did it, you'd be able to tell. If they were nice, if they were halfway decent and did it,
Right.
you'd be able. Either way, you're going to be able to tell. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Right.
nobody goes into it on a bulk. You're not going to pick a bulking diet to do it. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't even make any sense. So like to say that and then look like that, like you're. That's why Annie always says he's like the people that didn't do it, we know who you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yep.
like don't pretend though. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to say you did something you didn't do?
Yeah, and I mean it's again it's the trophy, it's the check mark to say that you did 75 hard because it's like the cool thing to do. But that leads me into actually something I wanted to share is that I heard a couple people talk about this. Andy might be one, a couple other guys that said that your best work is always going to happen when nobody's watching, in the dark, when nobody online's watching, nobody in real life, not your friends, not your family, not your acquaintances, not anybody. the only thing that people will see is the byproduct. They will see like, oh, when they see the pictures on social media, it's like, holy shit, he's got a fucking six pack, and they immediately think that happened overnight. It's like, no, it did not
No.
happen overnight. It was a lot of hard work. Or
Right.
when they see someone like Candy who's massively successful, right? He's got all the cars and all this, but what they don't understand is that the fucking hard work that happened behind the curtains
Right.
when nobody else was watching. And that's
Right.
what people need to understand is just that you need to be okay. You need to be okay. You need to understand that you don't need the applause. You don't need all the people to talk about. You're doing this for
That's
yourself.
You hit the nail
Nobody
on the
else.
head. They want the applause, and if they can't, when there's no one there to pat them on the back and tell them they're doing a good job, is when they slack. You know what
Right.
I mean? And that's unfortunate because it's like they'll never understand what you just said. And but that you hit the nail right on the head. They want the notoriety instead of the
Right.
result.
And the saddening part about that is that we live in a society where people seek validation from others. So let's face it, if you take a closer look, well, besides our
Everyone
tribe
likes to
and
be
circle,
validated, so I get that in a way, but it's definitely been taken a little to the extreme. Yes.
it is. It is because most people live in circles and run in circles with people that have nothing in common with. They know they want to grow, they know they want to become better, but they have the wrong association. So when they step up and say, "Hey, I'm going to do 75 hard," or whatever it is, something abnormal that seems abnormal to normal people, what happens? Those people don't give you
They
fucking validation because they don't
no,
want the same shit
they
as you
actually shit
do.
on you most of the time. They shit on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then exclusion is what happens. You get excluded, you get exterminated. Why? Because you're choosing a path that you know is better for you, that's going to lead you down a road that's going to make you better mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Right.
And there's literally, I feel like on one side, you've got 99% of society who I want to get better. This, that, like they're, it's whimsical thinking
Yeah.
is that's the way they're approaching it. They're not intentional, definitely not actionable. And then you got the 1% of people who are like, well, I want to be all these things, but I'm actually going to do these things.
Right.
Big fucking difference,
They have these people. They have macro dreams and micro patience. It needs to be the other way around.
right?
You know what I mean? Is it fucking? I think what's his name? Gary Vee talks about that shit all the time. You know, you need to have macro patience. Like
Yep.
it's look at it on a different level. It's backwards. Like it's they want it all right now. Well, here's the thing: if I gave it to you all right now, would you even know what to fucking do with it? No, because you're not ready for it yet. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's why people that win the lottery, win all that money, end up fucking broke because they don't know what to fucking do with it. That's why these professional athletes that get handed all this money when they're fucking 19, 20 years old end up all fucked up because they don't know what to do with it. No one's ever taught them how to do with that.
Well, and to
No
your
one can.
point,
Oh, go ahead.
professional athletes actually said that it's actually true that any professional athlete, especially NBA players, this has been proven, once they retire, 5 years post retirement, they're all bankrupt.
Right.
This is why you've got the fucking Shaq. This is why you had the fuck. That's why you got Michael Jordan, which was one of the first ones. They understood early on that if you don't invest in yourself
You need a
into a
business.
coach,
Yeah.
you're going to be
Something.
broke as fuck by the
Yeah.
time you retire.
Yeah.
And now, so like the Michael Jordans and the fucking Shaqs right now, they actually have more fucking money than when they played because they
Right.
played the right cards. But principally, here's what we're talking about. People want a finish line. And for successful people, there is no finish line.
No.
Okay. You never reach the finish line. So I was listening to this methodology that really struck with me is that successful people never actually reach the level they strive for. When they get closer, they set a new level.
They
And
move
then
it
they get
up.
closer and they reach another level. So they're always raising the bar
Right.
because they know that if they hit a level and they hit a level of satisfaction, they're actually starting to plateau. because by then they're understanding that, you know what, I got to here, but I need to push to get even higher and even
Right.
higher and even higher, because there is no finish line for successful people. Like, you can't just say, okay, I lost a bunch of weight, I got a fucking six pack, and I've built a business, so life is good. No, that's not the finish line.
No, not even close.
And
Like
that's where a lot of people, that's
that
how a lot of people see that.
that materialistic mentality is fucked from the beginning. Like if you're building to get four things that you just mentioned, those
Right.
things that you just mentioned, like you've already lost. Like that's not those things you can lose just as quick as you got them. You don't want those things, man. Like that's like I get it. I'm not saying I'm not, I don't if you are successful, you should buy the things that you want and have those things.
Right.
But that shouldn't be the reason that you're trying to get to where you shouldn't be going and trying to start a business so you can buy a Lamborghini one day. That is a byproduct, just like getting fit is a byproduct of 75 hard. Buying a Lamborghini is a byproduct of being a successful person. So it's got to start there, and you can't just look at it from that big picture again. Like I want to be fucking big
Right.
man on the campus. You know what I mean? It's that mentality. It's all that mentality. It's flipped around. It's backwards.
And I want to,
That's because
you're
of social
absolutely
media.
right.
That's because of social media.
It is all about social media, man. As people just misconstrue it because of social media. And before we bring it back to the day 76 mindset
Ah,
of 75 hard, you brought up something really interesting that I want to share. So I've had some discussions with people who have the Lambos, have the houses, like very successful, even fucking have airplanes and boats. And here's the one thing I kept hearing. They said, these cars and the houses and all of this is fucking great. But what people don't understand is that if you own a fucking $3.5 million Bugatti, did you know that the oil change costs 25 grand on
right,
that fucking car? $25,000 to change the fucking oil. So suddenly you look at all these materialistic things that you pointed out, which are great. Most successful people want materialistic things. I know I do also, but can you upkeep those things? Is it
right.
worth it? And suddenly you start to realize that, you know what? This is not what makes me wholesome.
No,
It's
the,
not
the,
what makes me wholesome. It's not
right.
what helps me sleep good at night to say that, oh, my fucking $3.5 million Bugatti is spick and span in the garage, so I'm going to sleep better at night. Fuck no, that's not it.
No, no.
And I think this is where people need to really delineate and understand that, again, going back to the day 76 mindset problem with 75 hard, is that you need to stop counting down. You need to stop enduring and think about evolving, really, of like
Right.
where you were and where you're going. If you look at, I was here, that's why you've got the progress photos. That to
Dude,
see day one, I was here, day 30, I'm here.
if you're looking at day 76 like it's fucking Friday and the weekend's coming up, your mentality's fucked from the beginning, bro. I'm just telling you. It don't work like that. It's not
No,
the point. Like your
no, and I
mentality's
mean,
all
a lot
wrong.
of people think about the survival too behind that. It's like, oh my god, when am I going to finish 75 hard? And it's like, if you're
Right.
dreading this, then
Yeah.
you've already failed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Start
I want to
start
be
over.
honest.
Start over. They need you to start over, try it again
Yep.
because that's not the point. You should be getting more into it. If you're doing it right, that you get towards day 25 and some shit just clicks and it's fucking go time. Like if you're not feeling,
Yep.
and I mean, there's a point towards you farther down that you start to get. That's just because physically and mentally it's draining you, and that's normal. But you power. That's when you power through that. But that
Right.
middle point when you start, you're supposed to be wanting that more and more and more and more, not dreading it. Like if you're dreading it, you're doing it wrong. You're totally doing it right. It
Yeah.
shouldn't make you miserable. It's to teach really quickly. The smart people really quickly learn time management. And as soon as you learn time management with
Right.
75 hard, you fucking got the game beat. Because if you meal prep and have all your shit ready, if you work out at the same times in the same place at the same times each day, you have your water ready to go. You know when you're going to do your reading. You have it all fucking set up. You have your alarm set to take your picture when you wake up in the morning. The fucking app has an alarm for every single task. Don't tell me you forgot.
Yep.
Like, come on, man. They make it so simple that if you fail, it's because you just fucking failed. So, like,
Right.
stop trying, like, we're not going to cry about it. We're going to just go and say, let's fucking go and do it right this time. But that's just the point of it is like, that's not what's happening. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
and
like somebody wants you to feel sorry for them because it was too hard, or like
right?
I had one girl tell me she laughed one time about I forget where the post was at, but she was laughing about it. She's like, "I have 3 kids, and you really think Andy Frisella does this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, he has people running all those companies for him. He has all the time in the world." And I'm like, "You really don't." I've heard stories on his podcast of pregnant women, people with no fucking arms and legs. Man, get out of here with your fucking
Yep.
excuse. Please stop with the excuses, because
Yep.
anyone that's ever wanted to do this has fucking done it.
Yep.
And guess what? So can you.
Absolutely. And something I want to touch upon though, since we're talking about day 76 here, and the mindset that you need to have is, so taking myself for example, is this: it wasn't until the fourth time that I actually completed 75 hard. But to what you just said earlier on, that's why I'm touching on this, is because in the three attempts that I failed, I'm glad I failed, because I had control and I was able to be self-aware to understand what I did wrong. And it's
Right.
only then, because most people see failure as quitting, instead of failure is a necessity. It's a byproduct for you to learn. And so when I look back at the first 3 attempts and I looked at, the mistakes that happened, which there was only, I think, a couple of times that it was unintentional. I think I was traveling for Thanksgiving. I was so exhausted and I passed out literally.
Right.
And by the time I knew it, like, it was fucking past midnight. So I was like, well,
Right.
fuck, there goes this day,
Right.
restart. But I was disciplined enough. And this is the key ingredient: day 76, being disciplined enough to say, I know what I need to do, versus letting the old you back in and saying, oh, I'm
Right.
going to go back to fucking donuts and
Right.
fucking cheeseburgers and all this. And I'm just going to go back to my old routine to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and fucking not do shit and just go with the flow. Cause that's
Right.
most people, right?
Well, yeah,
So,
that's their reward. That to them, that's the fucking reward. I can reward myself by
right.
going back to the old fucking shit I was doing before I started this whole fucking journey, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, because you just put yourself through something that was fucking hard, and now you just
Yeah.
want to go back to fucking being a turd again. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but
I mean, it's the same shit. It's, day
yeah,
76. And even if it wasn't just 75 hard, if you did something hard, this is the principle behind this, okay? Because I've been through this personally many times in life and in business, where it's like, if you went through something very hard, first of all, it's hard for a fucking reason, okay?
yeah,
Because the reward, the dividends that come out of that is the byproduct of all the hard work that you did. And
right,
that's what people do not understand.
no,
There's too many people who, they look for instant gratification, or they go through something hard and they say, oh, I'm just going to go back to my old self. And it's like, why in the fuck did you waste all this time? You spend 75 days or however long building yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually. And now you're going to go back to your old self? You're going to go back to your old life? You're going
so
to go back to the same shit you were doing before because you're tired, because you worn out, because, let's face it, maybe you didn't have enough motivation. These are all lame ass excuses, because, and this is speaking from personal experience, where I look back and having regrets, and I'd be like, you know what? I did all this fucking hard work, and now I'm not going to keep going.
right,
And that's what people need to understand, is just that if you did the hard work, first of all, you need to congratulate yourself because you
right.
did do the hard work. But don't let that shit settle in your head. And day 76, you're back to fucking doing the same old shit that you did before.
Well, what you should have learned during those 75 days is that the 75 hard is the standard. On day 76, we continue to live the fucking standard. It's just that simple. Those are your standards now. Your old standards are gone. They don't exist
Right.
anymore. You've got new ones now, and these are them. And that's how you go from their point on. And that's the way it should be. Like I said, you're going to make little micro adjustments to that to live your life. If you're not on 75 hard, but you're still living that lifestyle, that's one and the same. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody that's on 70. or not on 75 hard, just goes back to being a fucking, lazy bum. They still live that lifestyle, and you can live that lifestyle.
I mean, 75 hard is a standard. It's a proven standard that's been built, and that's one way that I personally had looked at it is that, there's been, I think now there's close to 1.2 million people that have completed this program, and that number actually keeps rising from some of the latest stats that I checked. And there's a reason, because it just works. It's a proven play. It's a proven program, a mental toughness program, and honestly, it's more than just mental toughness, but the mental fortitude actually has an amplified effect in everything else that you do in life. Fitness, nutrition, hydration, finances, personal life, business, everything. And that's what most people miss out of this, is this that, and I think for some people, it might take a couple of times to do it. Like I know Andy has done it several times. Sometimes he fails.
He's
Sometimes,
doing it right now.
yeah, he's in it right now. I believe like day 40 or something, I think is what I saw. And, but that's just it, is this that winners don't quit. Winners may fail, but they still keep going because, it's the failures, the experiences, the lessons that you learn that helps you become better. Because I don't know about you, man, but maybe there's been one person in our group, actually. I take that back, that actually did 75 hard the first time around, and it was a home run, right? Like they
Right.
just did it on the first time. And I'm like, great, you're the
I
exception.
mean,
You had the mental toughness to do this right the first time around.
here's what people need to understand, and you said it a little while back, is like you can quit or you can fail. If you fail, you didn't quit. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yep.
I don't know. Like people get the two confused. Quitting and failing are not the same thing. Okay.
No.
Unless you fail because you quit, you just say, fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore. And then you're doing both. But if, like you said, you fell asleep, you missed a window, you fucked it up, you failed. You didn't quit because you started back the right way and did it again. That's the difference, so you can't really fail. I mean, you can fail, but if you keep going, eventually you're going to finish.
A
You know what I
perfect
mean? You
example.
just are.
Yeah, a perfect
You're gonna
example
do
here.
75 instead of 75 hard. You're gonna do 175 hard, like I had to fucking do because I got sick fucking 3 times.
Right. Well, here's a prime example. You brought up failing and quitting. Here's the perfect example to delineate failing and quitting. Okay, failing is like for me. One of my failures was literally I drove 3.5 hours on Thanksgiving, and then I was so fucking exhausted because I woke up early in the morning. Literally got to my mother-in-law's house. Literally passed out for a nap, which I knew I was just so exhausted from driving with kids and the wife and all that. And then I passed out and it was past midnight, and I was like, all right, I failed. But then the next day, which actually I think was 1 or 2 days later, I restarted. That's the difference, is that between failing and quitting. The failings, I failed because I didn't do what I needed to do, but I
Right,
didn't say I'm never gonna do 75 hard again
right.
and
That's
not
quitting.
do it again. I waited, it was about a day or two, and then I started round two. That's the difference between failing and quitting. And failures, can be intentional and unintentional. It just depends. Listen, there's been days where I'm like, fuck, I just don't want to do this. Like,
Right,
it just like, I'm in a bad mood. Fucking God knows what happened. I didn't sleep right, whatever the case might be, right? But the one thing I will tell you, and this is what people need to understand, is that in completing 75 hard, and when you do get to day 76, guess what? You build an on and off switch. That there are certain things that you don't want to do, and you know what you need to do. That is what 75 hard hopefully taught you, is how to have that mental resilience and say, fucker, you need to do this shit. Okay?
right,
Because you're gonna thank yourself later versus I don't want to do it because I don't feel like doing it. That's what you learn hopefully on day 76, is that you're going to be able to pick up
right,
that you learn from 75 hard. And it doesn't matter what it is, family, business, finances, anything. It's that mental fortitude that's going to help you, unlock that and be in control. That's one thing that people need to understand. So, um, going back to your old habits is, and I've gone down that route before where I'm like, oh man, chocolate sounds so good
Dude,
right
we all
now,
have. I've done it before. It's not like nobody's demonizing anybody
right?
for it. But if this is, we're talking to people here that that say they have the intentions of wanting to get better, and if you're going to talk about it and you want to do it, then do
Right,
it, and don't make fucking excuses for it. Like if you don't want to do it, you want to go and eat your chocolate and do your thing, like fucking do that too. Like I don't care either way, but like they come into this with the mentality that they want to do it and then they fucking cry about it the whole time, or can I have this, can I have that? No, you fucking can't. If you've got to ask, you can't. And then
right,
you get to day 76 and you're still questioning that. Kind of, now I'm going to go have it because I'm not doing it anymore. Well, how many times are you going to do you do that? Oh, I'm just going to do it this one time. Well, that one time is going to turn into every other day. It's going to turn into every day. And then the next thing you know, you're back to eating pizza for lunch every single day instead of
right.
going to the salad bar or whatever the fuck the thing is. You know what I'm saying? And then you're back off track, and you didn't learn anything. And I
There's
understand it's tough. I'm not saying it's for everybody,
right,
and it can be hard. But that's where you just got to say to yourself, like, you know how hard it is for me. Like right now, I'm in a cutting phase where I'm trying to lose some body fat for summer, and I'm the type of guy that likes to eat something. I go into the freaking gas station to get gas, and I want a protein bar, or something. Or if I'm feeling a donut, I'll have a fucking donut. I don't give
right.
a shit. But to go in there and not fucking buy anything at all except the gasoline I need to get,
Right.
like it's not easy. I have to tell
No,
myself, no, you don't need that. Literally in my head, I'm like, you don't need that. You don't need that. Just go home. You
yeah,
have food at home. Because the only food I keep in my home is fucking protein. So I come home and eat a
yeah,
fucking piece of chicken. But it's that's part of it, and that's what carries on through it, and that's to get better and to live that life. That's one of those things that you guys have to sacrifice. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. Like I
right,
said, there's no
right.
halfway.
There was a couple people actually in our group where uh they had kind of odd diets. Like I'm not an expert on diets by any means, and personally, I've stuck to a Mediterranean diet for quite some time. I've just become a fan of it too, and it's also very non-inflammatory, very healthy as well. But when I was seeing these people talk about these like weird diets that they had, which that is the prerequisite of 75 hard, is to
Pick a
stick
diet,
to a
right?
diet, right? Pick a diet, but there's
Give
also
me an
something.
example. What do you give me one of those examples? Because I'm curious as to
Oh my
what you're
god,
talking
I
about.
think I know one was something like a keto. The other one was like I think someone was doing a carnivore. I think was
Yeah,
another one,
two
which I've done.
things
Yeah, I've
that
done a
I'm not.
carnivore before, and
Yeah, I'm not against those ways of eating.
right,
People have done them, and I've had arguments and not arguments, but discussions within the group about this exact same thing. And I'll say the same
right,
thing again here, that it's not a good idea on 75 hard for doing two workouts. You need carbohydrates. And I know everyone's going to
right.
argue with me and tell me, no, you don't. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you fucking do. They
You
make you
do,
perform. They make you perform. They make you recover. It's a fucking fact. Look it up. So you're going to do better with them than without them. And if you're trying to slash them and stay in a 500 calorie deficit, you're not going to perform well. You're not
yep,
going to sleep well. You're not
right,
going to do anything well at that point. So this is why I say those. Those things are tools that you keep in your toolbox and you can pull out and use from time to time. But 75 hard is not the time to use those tools, in my opinion.
right.
Like I said, people have used them and they've had success. I can't deny their success. I'm saying that they'd have had better success if they'd have used carbohydrates, and there's just science that can back that up. Sorry.
Where I was, that's a really good point, and where I was going with that thought was 2 points that I want to touch upon is with the diet on 75 hard. Um, that's why you have to pick a diet, but there's also kind of a fine line between picking a diet and food deprivation, because I think
Right.
most people kind of struggle with that
They
is
do.
diet and food deprivation, and like I
They
want to
do.
eat this or I'm used to eating this, but I really need to eat this. So you got to really find that balance,
Every
right? And that's
single
what,
person that has messaged me about that, most of them have been women.
yep,
Every single one of them, when I figured out their macros, they were all under eating. Every one of them.
Yeah.
And we're
Right.
talking about like 5, 6, 700 calories a
Yep.
day, which is a lot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's a problem because they get that, like you said, it's a confusion. They think diet,
Yep.
pick a diet that it's because of the word diet. And I hate the word diet because
Oh yeah.
diet makes you
Right.
think that everyone's trying to lose weight. No, I can pick a diet that makes me gain weight because I'm trying to bulk.
Right.
So
Right.
the
Right.
word
Right.
diet is a bad word to use. You need to pick a meal plan that's going to fit for you, I think is a better way to say it, because diet just they automatically gets in their head that they need to be dieting, and then this confusion comes in, like you're talking about right
Right.
here.
And the other thing I actually want to touch upon, because you brought this up, is carbs. Because as a triathlete, actually, carbs, like tomorrow, I have a triathlon. Literally tonight, I'm fucking eating a boatload of carbs because that is what's going to help me perform tomorrow. It's
Right.
the carbs. And honestly, I've proven this twice already where, I mean, simply is that the night before on my last couple of triathlons that I had a big ass meal with a bunch of fucking carbs. And I think one time was like I think it was like a big jambalaya or something with rice, and the other was like I can't remember if it was a red sauce or white sauce with a lot of chicken and stuff. So it was a shit ton of fucking carbs. But to your point, you're absolutely 100% correct that people don't understand that the carbs is what's going to make you perform better. Your body needs it.
It's glycogen, man. It's
What's that?
necessary. It's glycogen. It's where you get glycogen,
Yep.
and you need that for energy. It's just where it
Yes.
comes from. It's
Yeah,
fuel. It's your
absolutely.
fuel. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, as we're kind of rounding it out here, man, a couple things I want to share is that we talked about 75 hard, day 76, also busting out some myths, also debunking some myths that I think a lot of people have, in terms of food, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, also. But the biggest takeaway here from this episode is that 75 hard was never really the goal. It was the person that you became after completing the program,
Right.
and the person that hopefully you continue to be moving forward, because
Right.
that is why it's called a mental toughness program, to help you build the mindset that you need to conquer your life.
Right. That's 100% true. And like I always say, like 75 hard is just the beginning to to changing your life. And you change your life, and then you change the lives around you, and then we begin to change culture, which is what we're trying to do here. This is just a part of it. It's a very minuscule beginning part. It sounds big, it is big, it's hard. But if you can make it through this, someone else can make it through this, someone else can make it through this. Imagine if you've got a town of 100,000 people that have all made it through something like this, and they're all mentally tough,
Yep.
and they're all driven, and they all want to win. Don't you think that'd be a lot more productive society than the shit that we're dealing with right now?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's the point. That's why I say this is bigger than just a Facebook group and this fucking podcast and 75 hard, and bigger than fucking first
Right.
form, bigger than all this. This is why Andy does it. It's not about that. It's about changing everything, and you have to start somewhere, and this is where you start, by one person at a time, putting them through something like this and changing them into a better person.
Yep. And I'll leave it at that, man. I mean, you finalize it there, really nice. Before I forget, the Iron Standard podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we're now also on YouTube. So
Check
you
it
guys
out.
can watch this episode if you're listening on the audio. If you got some value out of this, please share us a review on Apple, Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd
I don't
love
care
it.
if you liked it or not. Leave a comment. Just tell me. Tell me what we're doing wrong. Tell me what we're doing right. Fucking give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Do something. Let us
Wait,
know
hold on.
what's
Are
going
you
on.
inviting the Karens? Is that what you're saying?
Hey man, look, if they want to tell me what they think that we're doing wrong, I would be happy to listen and address it on the next episode. That would bother me in the slightest.
That's right.
I
That's right.
think
I
anybody
totally
that
agree.
knows me knows that.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks, guys. We out.